Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar covering Everbridge community engagement, focusing on the new release that is coming out. So, just to get us started, I want to introduce you to our speaker, Scott Benoit. Scott Benoit is currently Nixle Senior and Community Engagement's Director of Product Management, and he's a certified product owner. Responsibilities include acting as product owner for Nixle Community Engagement's full suite of SaaS products, web-based and native mobile apps, user experience, both specifications and design, creative direction, and communicating with all involved teams during a product launch. We're excited to have Scott with us today. And before he begins, quickly, when any of you have a question during this webinar, you can submit it by going to the questions panel in the GoToWebinar panel on the side of your screen and submitting your question to all panelists. We'll answer the questions at the end of the webinar, where after Scott has done his presentation and his demonstration of the Everbridge Community Engagement Solution. At this point, I'm going to hand it over to you, Scott, and you may begin when you're ready.
Great, thanks, Mike. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. All right, and Mike, please confirm when you can see my screen.
All set, Mike. Scott.
Thank you. So, good morning, good afternoon. I'd like to start, as Mike mentioned, to kind of go through a high-level overview of what community engagement is, the features that are included in this package, and then also dive into kind of a live demo environment to show you some of the features that we have coming up in our July release. So there's three features I'll be walking through there. So at the highest of levels, this goes back to late 2014. Nixle was acquired by Everbridge, and the product that Nixle really focused on, the kind of core concept was around community engagement. So we knew that emergency messages were, of course, critical for public safety and municipalities to send out to the residents, but there was also a need for more day-to-day interaction between municipalities, those public safety agencies, and their residents. So when we looked at kind of combining the two models, it actually was a very complementary fit. So the idea is essentially Nixle continues to operate at a municipal level. Agencies are connecting on a daily basis with their residents. They're driving opt-in numbers at a very local level. And Everbridge customers, typically OEMs or similar county-level agencies, get to benefit from those opt-ins, which is a very powerful concept. So we know that landline data, E911 data is diminishing quarter over quarter, year over year. So agencies really need to have a way to supplement that data that's going away. And this opt-in system that we have has really proven beneficial to our agencies. So how does that opt-in process work? So we obviously have a number of ways that residents can come into the system, but the real cycle that we see is the benefit of publishing more frequently is that you're simply getting your message out there that much more. And when you do that, residents are, very savvy. They have a number of ways to receive information. So they may receive it via email, SMS, they may have a mobile application, but essentially they will share that content with their friends and family over their preferred social networks. And once they share your message, it really just drives exposure to the brand that you've created within Everbridge. So maybe you have a branded member portal, for example. Whatever that brand is, it's a great way to get that brand of yours in front of more and more residents. So really the idea is the more content you share, the more residents can view and interact with that content, ultimately share that content across their various social networks. And at the end of the day, that really results in more opt-ins for you. And just to give everyone kind of an overview of how many agencies we have in the country, 9,000 currently. So when you layer on all of the Nixle agencies, you'll see we have a very, very large footprint across North America. And this is actually really important because when you talk about easy opt-in, what we've tried to do is two primary ways for residents to opt in. Right? They can text their zip code to 888-777, so that's entirely SMS based. Right? So 888-777 is our dedicated short code. Residents can simply just text their zip code to 888-777. We also have a full web registration as well. And once they do that, we have a very kind of unique system that's really valuable to our agencies. So let's say, in this case, I'm the resident. I pull out my phone. I text 91016 to 888-777. What have I just done? I've signed up to all of the agencies that have publishing permissions for that zip code. Right? So it's a very powerful concept. I'm not just signing up for one agency. I'm signing up for all agencies that have access to this zip code. Right? So this is actually my zip code in Southern California, my local PD, the fire department, the neighboring police department, and then, you know, if you have a county level organization and you come on board with community engagement, you will have a built-in opt-in base. So all of the kind of interaction that's occurring at a local level, county level agencies get to benefit from those opt-ins. So just to put that into perspective, let's say 91016 consists of 1,000 users. All four of these agencies have access to that same group of 1,000 users. Now you can imagine if a fifth agency came on board, they would immediately have access to this 1,000 users. Right? So it's a great way to start using a service, have a built-in opt-in database immediately available to receive your messages. And it's really interesting when we work with agencies. A lot of questions are, hey, what is our, so we already have an opt-in database. How many people are opted in? And a lot of agencies are surprised to learn that they have sometimes tens of thousands of people who are already opted in to the Nixle system and thereby available to them to send their notifications. So I would encourage you to follow up to really see how many people are opted into your community already. You would have that added benefit of having that built-in opt-in database. And there's just one example of a great way to get a call to action out to your residents. So, you know, once you've come on board and you have this message that you want to go out to your residents with, you know, text your zip code to 888-777. Roadside banners, local media, press releases. We actually have a kit, kind of a self-promotion kit, a way to get the word out to your residents. But we do offer assistance in helping you get those opt-in numbers up. And then once you do come on board and let's say you go out, you run an opt-in campaign, you have a bunch of users, very easy to actually target those users from the notification form that you're all familiar with. So right from that Everbridge, create notification form, as you're scrolling down, these Nixle channels are publishing options. So there's a few checkboxes, additional fields that you can fill out. That message will then reach all of those people who have opted in via the zip code and short code combination. Now, very similar functionality here. These are what we call event groups. And these opt-ins are not opting into a broad location. So this is not like a zip code opt-in where I, as a user, might opt into 4 or 5 or even more agencies. I am opting into one particular group. So from an agency's perspective, let's say you have a festival coming up in the park. 4th of July is a great example. So maybe you have 4th of July fireworks. There's going to be traffic detours, parking restrictions. Maybe you want people to be updated on change in timing of the fireworks in case fog rolls in. Whatever it is, you may want to set up a group that is specific to this event. And what you can do is you can set up the group, and you can assign a mobile keyword to it. So similar to the Zipcode functionality, users can actually text your mobile keyword to 888-777, and they will easily opt in to this specific group. Right, so through the keyword opt-in, they're not opting into multiple agencies, just your agency and just for this particular event. So now you can imagine if you have a group of users who have essentially indicated they're interested in just this one event. Now, the day of the event, if something happens, this group will be immediately available for you to send a message to. And just to kind of give you a case study of that keyword functionality, late last year, the city of Philadelphia, knew they had a lot of logistical challenges aligning their resources, preparing for an influx of about 1.5 million visitors over the course of the weekend. So they reached out, and we helped formulate a plan, and this is the plan that we usually like to espouse to our users. The plan in this might seem basic, but it's really important to actually plan out each stage of an event before the event. So that really speaks to how do you get people to opt in. If you can get the word out well ahead of time, that would help you get your opt-in numbers up. It just allows the word of mouth to build. People will continue to opt in over the course of the pre-event proceedings. So during the event, obviously when the event is happening, people want to receive updates. And then after the event, how do you, if somebody's opted into a specific group, how do you urge them to opt in to other groups, right? So maybe you want them to opt into a broader set of information that your agency is publishing, right? So we have some best practices around all three stages here, but just to talk about the papal visit. So the city set up the keyword papal visit, and they did a great job in getting the word out ahead of the event. So they actually started their outreach maybe a little later than we would typically recommend, but nonetheless they did a great job just getting a full media blitz out there. So press releases, a lot of local media pickup. They were publishing to their social networks. They had walking maps scattered around the city with the call to action. So they did a great job getting the word out. And in 7 days, they were able to get about 11,500 users to sign up. So very good inflection point here. So they were testing internally up until about the 23rd of September, and then the media blitz hit and a lot of opt-ins. And it's particularly impressive when you kind of compare that against their social traction over the previous 7 years. So in just 7 days, they were able to get quite a few followers. During the event, just some examples of the messaging that was being sent out from the Joint Operations Center. Excuse me. So, they had first aid tents. They had Jumbotron set up. They were using the system for crowd control, for traffic updates, for weather updates. So all in all, very good use of the system during the event itself. And now something that they did that was great was after the event was over, they encouraged their residents to then opt into the Zipcode opt-in process, right? So imagine from a user's perspective, you've opted into one particular group, right? You want to receive information for just this one event. Now the text message you get from the agency says, the event has now ended, reply to this message with your zip code. Now, as a resident, I would reply with my zip code, and now I've opted into all local public safety information. So a lot of value to residents, obviously, and also to your agency. Just some examples, if you have local transit authorities, if you have a state fair coming up or some sort of gathering coming up that you need, any sort of event, this is a great way to get people to easily opt in, and then obviously message them once you've captured that app opt-in data. Another component of community engagement is integration with both Facebook and Twitter. So directly from your Everbridge settings, you can link your account to both a Facebook and Twitter account. And not just one Facebook and Twitter account, actually multiple accounts. So however many different profiles you're managing across both Facebook and Twitter, you can very easily link those to your Everbridge account. And very similarly to the Nixle publishing options, right from that notification form that you're all used to generating your messages from, there are additional publishing options for social media. So if you select social media, you will have the ability to target all of the Twitter messages or Facebook, the Twitter channels and Facebook feeds that you want your message to reach. Additionally, we have a unique partnership with Google to distribute our high priority messages to Google public alerts. And this is a very, as I mentioned, unique partnership to Everbridge. So essentially, if you are to send a high priority community engagement message, that message will reach Google, which they will then redistribute across 3 properties. So if you were to publish, let's say, a tornado warning from Everbridge, selecting community engagement, that message would display in Google Search, in Google Maps, and on Google Now. Now you can imagine search and maps, obviously, huge exposure to your message. And what this basically does is, if somebody is in that area, let's say, so this example is Lake Conroy outside of Houston. If somebody is in Lake Conroy and they see dark clouds forming, chances are they're going to use their phone or go to Google on their desktop and punch in tornado. If your message has come through the Everbridge network and that user punches in that keyword tornado, that is the first thing they will see on top of their search results. So it's a great way to just add even more exposure to your messages directly from the Everbridge notification form. So so some contact sources that we do kind of add to your arsenal is so a web page, Facebook, Twitter, Google Public Alerts. So it's really a way of amplifying your message, adding those additional channels, combined with easy opt-in. Those are the kind of key components. And I think lastly, I'd like to kind of spend a few minutes just to kind of give you a glimpse into what we'll be releasing at the end of July with community engagement. And the first thing you'll notice is, so I log into my demo account, and please note this is on our demo environment. This is not a live production environment. So we do have some test data in here. But the first thing you'll notice is when I log in, I have 2 new widgets. So I can actually see the number of community subscribers. I can see the 7-day trending data. And again, these are a little bit flatlined. So this is our testing account. But you will see the aggregate number of people that are opting in to the service. So the idea here is just give you a very quick snapshot of how you're doing. How many opt-ins are you getting? Are they community subscribers? Are they event groups? Right. So a great example here is 4th of July festival. Maybe you set up an event group for 4th of July. You've gone out. You've gotten the keyword in front of your residents. How is it doing? How are people responding to your call to actions? And from here, you can actually view reports. So I'll click into that in a second. But down here, if you're curious how you can, get this to point upwards, we do have a great guide, and this content is still coming together. This will be in place for the release. We do have an attachment here. But directly from that dashboard, we will link you to this page that contains our opt-in best practices. And we actually have a team of people on the community engagement side that will also help you. But the idea is we want to make you successful. We want to make sure that when you come on board with community engagement, we are here to help you get those opt-ins opting into the system, and then make it very clear to you as a user how you're doing on both fronts, on the Zipcode front and then on the event group front. So now view reports. So if I want to click in, the default view is a 7-day trending view, but I can go back historically and say, you know what, I want to know how I did from April 1st through the end of the month. Maybe you ran, so let's see, update. So maybe you ran a particular, let's say you ran a radio spot. So 30 days. So maybe you ran a radio spot. You wanted to see how you did in those 30 days, or maybe you put out a press release. You know, it's a great way to kind of measure the activity against kind of the campaigns that you're managing on the PR side. So again, that is the addition for July, the dashboard view here, and then the reports. And the last thing that I'll mention is a new feature to link your Twitter messages to a web page. So this is actually very important to a lot of our customers. And excuse me while I jump around from window to window here. So this is the notification form. And I actually have some content that I will plug in here. So let's say you want to, you know, maybe you have a large Twitter following and you want to send a message out to all of those Twitter users. Well, it's very difficult to include or get your point across in 140 characters, as we all know. So the idea here is, how do you get your Twitter followers to read all of the information that might pertain to a particular story, right? So I'm going to plug in this information. Let's say this example is for a wildfire update. So I'm going to plug in the message. I'm going to scroll down, and you'll notice here, publishing options, I have social media. You know what, before I do that, let me attach an image. I do have one on my desktop. And interestingly enough, this screenshot was, this image I'm using is from a wildfire in LA that was very close to my house last week. Scary stuff. But so if I scroll down and select social media, I'm going to select my Twitter account. I have an option to link the tweet to a web page. I can choose to include the image that I've uploaded, which I'll do. And then because this is a publishing option, I am also required to actually select a contact. So the normal workflow here is users are sending messages to Twitter in addition to contacts or groups that they have set up already. So I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to send. So the message went out. Now I'm going to jump over to my Twitter feed, do a refresh. Just take a few seconds. And you'll notice the message comes through. So the message is truncated to include the link to a web page. But this is great because you can imagine, as a resident scrolling through Twitter, they'll see your message, they'll see the image you've attached, and they can actually click through and see the full message here. And this can include your agency's branding. The image will also be available here as an attachment. So again, it's just a great way to get your message in front of your Twitter followers and not being limited to those 140 characters. So that is what we have in store for July. And I think at this time, Mike, we're probably ready to open it up to questions.
Yeah, thank you, Scott, and thank you for the presentation. So we do have some couple questions that came in. One of them is, Scott, and this comes from Donna. She's a customer, an Everbridge customer. She wants to know, for community engagement, she's seen some data sheets on it. Where exactly would they be able to select those social publishing options? You might have shown it. Do you mind just showing where in the message UI where you could send that?
Yeah, absolutely. You can still see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. So Donna, from the new notification screen, as you scroll down, you will have these additional publishing options. So it is in this section. And the Nixle channels will be here, right? So I can either target my community subscribers or the event groups. And then for social media channels, I simply select this checkbox, and this is where I can select from my Twitter accounts and my Facebook feeds. And I think for here, so I unlinked my Facebook account earlier. I do have my Twitter account linked. But if you have multiple Twitter handles that you're managing daily, you can send this message to all of those or to just one. really up to you. And then from a setup perspective, it's very easy. So I'll actually just go through the process of setting up my social media account. So I went to Settings, Publishing Options, and this is where I manage those settings. I do have my Twitter account linked, as you can see. Now, if I want to link my Facebook account, I can do that. So I will link that now. Click OK. I will be redirected back to the Facebook application, and you'll see that my account is now linked. Now, if I was to go back to the notification page, new notification, scroll down, publish to social media, you can see that my Facebook account is now available for selection.
Excellent. Thank you, Scott. The next question comes from another Donna in the audience. She wants to know, she says, it seems like an excellent tool. Can you have multiple users with different levels of access?
You can. Great question. So we do have a product called Incident Communications, or IC, and that really affords you a way to kind of lock down who has permission to send to which zip codes, which social media channels, which event groups. So unfortunately, here, I can create a new template very quickly. So let's say you wanted a, let's say you have a South Street Facebook group, and only one user, so South Street being one particular part of your community, one user within your org has the ability to publish to that specific Facebook group. You can actually create a template. In publishing options, you can do social media. You can select which Facebook account that user has access to. And now when that user goes to launch an incident template, they will only be able to target that specific group that you have given them access to. So community engagement with the addition of incident communication and these templates will allow you to completely lock down who this message is reaching.
Excellent. Thank you, Scott.
Yep.
And Donna, just as a quick addition to that, I'm not sure if you are a customer or not, but if you are, what we can do is we can make sure your account manager follows up with you just to make sure if you have that, that can be enabled. Because again, that is a separate product, incident communication. So the next question comes from Joe in the audience. He wants to know, Scott, is there some level of automatic enrollment across Nixle and the Everbridge suite?
Automatic enrollment. So Nixle offers a web page where users can sign up, and that essentially acts as very similar to a Zipcode. So it goes into a shared database that both, imagine it as one database that both Everbridge and Nixle agencies can send their message to. So residents sign up with Nixle. We have millions of users across the US. They come in organically every day. We get thousands of signups. So it is happening organically, and the great thing is if you're running an opt-in campaign, in addition to kind of the viral organic opt-ins we're already getting, it is essentially, I think, that automatic opt-in base that you're looking for.
Excellent. So the next question is from Christy. Scott, she wants to know, is there an addition, is the social dashboard that you highlighted, is that part of the base community engagement package, or is that an additional purchase?
This is absolutely part of the community engagement package. So we really want to make sure our customers are successful here, and the best way I think to do that is to just really give them a glimpse into how they're doing getting these opt-ins, and just make it very easy. If you are running into challenges here, that's why we wanted to get this best practices in front of you. We just really want to help you get those opt-ins. So yeah, we feel this dashboard is core to the actual offering, so it is included with that base product.
Excellent. So at this time, we don't have any more questions, and we just hit 2:30. First off, I'd like to thank Scott Benoit for a great presentation highlighting community engagement and his demonstration, and of course everyone who was able to join us today. As always, for our customers, we'll have account managers follow up with you for any additional questions, or if there's any questions that were missed that we weren't able to get to. For anyone registered and still in the webinar, you will receive a recording, so if there's a part you want to review, you will be able to. We'll send that out in the next coming days with these slides. And as always, if you have any additional questions, feel free to fill out Contact Us or request demo form on our site. Thank you, everyone, again, and thank you, Scott. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.